Hey, my stuff just crashed, as you can see right here. I repaired it. All right, awesome. So I want to get into that, and I believed that she is Peter, and I know it. The message is for me because I believe I'm a Peter. Right? All right. So let's get out of here. Um, and what we will do, my friend? What I wanted to do now is you know, the date. It's got to be somewhere in August. I've got some text messages that came in. Everything should align. Something should be here that should tell me that. So let's see what Raj says. You still got your cards? Man, he's bringing me back to childhood. I love Roger. He can always come through with a memory at just the right time. That just, man. So this is Andrea. She wants to lick my face because I told her this. I did this song for her. Check this out. This is a song I had about, I think I explain it.
In the skip song a long time ago. It was about a make-believe girl out of my dreams. And I never showed it or told it to anybody ever for any reason because I didn't want it to influence anyone to be able to use it against me because I'd be a sucker for it. So I'll just wait until I found the girl I thought was it. Match her to this song, and if she matches, she's the one. So this song's called Make Believe, and Andrea did something that blew me away, convinced me that she wasn't like any other girl to me. She was a perfect match for me, and like stuff that we did. So after seeing her messing around and playing with Jessica, I was like, oh my God, I've seen her my whole life. She's obvious the chick in that song. So this is the girl. It's called Make Believe. Go like this.
I'm gonna sing it too.
Love how we pull over just to jump in a creek, and at the sound of thunder we run out to play in the rain. And if I know any words to a song, we'll both pretend to sing.
I forgot this line here, but we'll make fun of kids who do strange and stupid things. That's the real line there. I forgot it, man.
I know you make believe, but I feel like that we got long chairs in the front yard, a bubble machine.
So it's just.
And you dress up like your dad.
And I look James Dean. So this is just a story. We're just two goofy people in love, and we do crazy stuff. Then nothing about you and me. So that's that right there, right? So we'll close it out. So that was about her. So let me go. I want to see what else she said. So just throwing her in on this because they were talking during this whole thing. Oh baby, yes, that's us to a T. Love it. Thumbs up. I want to lick your face. Then I got two thumbs up from her face. And she told me she wants this song right here. And I'll be your crying shoulder. I'll be love. So I want to plan this festival for January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. August 21st of 21. The first recognition. So I will tell you, me and Andrea will be getting married on this day. We want to go ahead and have an official observation of that day with our wedding. So I know that. So it would be 8/21/21 is when we will first have the largest celebration of this long overdue situation. So that's what God wants you to do. He wants you to continue on your path. Jesus brought you there because he wants you to see the end. He wants you to know it's real. He wants you to understand that it's something that can be explained through math and science. if you have an open mind and an understanding and you eliminate the doctrine of dogma that you grew up with. So that's that. All right. And I got to say, it feels awesome because I also feel I'm a Peter. You cannot move my opinion once it's revealed to me, but it takes you some serious work to get there. And literally, when I set out, this is what I did. I don't think anybody's heard this story too many times, but I want to tell you guys it real quick. This is what started my thing. I got into fight money. I thought everything. I gave up everything. I got rid of it. I'm sick of it. And I ended up walking along the street, and I'm calling out to God, or the air, whatever you want to call it. I said, "Oh, you're such a miraculous God. How about you find some glue for my boot, Mr. Miracle?" And I'd have conversations with that, like that with God on the road. I mean, I was like a very disobedient child on that road. So I had a hole in my boot and it was raining and water was getting in it. This guy pulls over, picks me up. Next thing I know, got another guy picks me up when he drops me off at the gas station. I'm in Houston. As soon as I show up in Houston, everybody's seen the feather in Forrest Gump. Well, I saw something like that catch my eye from across the way. The guy let me out right down the road from the Salvation Army in Houston. And this thing's flipping through the air and it comes and it lands and slides right underneath that boot. And it's a picture of Fat Jesus. I'm like, what? You never see a picture of Fat Jesus. Like, what the hell? I'm like, all right. So I went up in there, and that's when my pictures and my moment first started. I went up in there and I took the picture of me at the Salvation Army, and I got a picture of my boots sitting on the bed. So I wake up the next day. I think I'm insane. So I've done lost my mind. I gave away everything I own. I'm taking off. I head up, and I'm going to find this place called the Beacon, because the Beacon's where all the homeless people sleep on the sidewalks outside. So I'm looking for it, and this guy circles. He's coming across the street on me, and I'm crossing the street. And in the middle, I said, "Oh, excuse me." He's walking a dog that's spotted like a cow, black and white. So I said, "Got to watch out for man's best friend." Well, he gets to the other side of the street. I get to the other side of the street. And he turns around and he goes, "Second best friend." His name was Hal Morris. I go, "Second best friend?" I go, "Well, who the hell is your first?" He goes, "Well, it ain't hell, son. It's heaven and Jesus." I was like, "Oh, no kidding. That just so happens to be the guy I'm looking for." And so he left, circled the block, come back around in a little white van. Looked like a van you should hide your kids from. But he says, "Hey, can I buy you a cup of coffee?" I said, "Well, you must." Because in my mind, when I was having that conversation on the road with God, I was saying, "Lord, I'm not going to ask anybody for nothing." I didn't call him Lord at the time, but I'm not going to ask anybody for nothing. No water, no drink, no food, no clothes, no nothing. So if you don't give the message to your people to tend to my needs, I'll surely die of thirst or hunger, and then I can prove you're not real, and I can move on with my life. And when I tell you that it was crazy, because I sat down there, had that cup of coffee, he bought me a little McDonald's sandwich too, and I told him that story I just told you right now, and he starts laughing hysterically. And I'm pissed. I'm like, "What the hell are you laughing at? That's the story of the worst moment of my life." He goes, "Well, son, God is a mysterious being, because he sent you to a boot maker, not a glue maker, and I got a pair of boots I'll give you." And he ended up giving me a pair of boots from the Tony Lama collection from like the 70s or something. They look brand new. I put them on. It was like a Cinderella story. They fit like a glove, like they were designed for my foot. I couldn't believe what was happening. I fell to pieces. Later on in the park that day, I'm sitting there. Was it Herman or something? It's Herman Hospital, Herman Park, something right across. It's across from the way station where people go to eat. All the time they serve food. And I'm crying. This guy comes up, he hands me a letter from God. And if those words didn't match exactly what was in my head, I bawled more. And I took off the boots and I'm staring at him. And that's when I knew it was real. Because coincidence at that point had now defied probability. So I roll down these boots, and on the inside of these boots, it says El Rey. Well, it was the El Rey Tony Lama collection. Ostrich skin boots. And I knew a little bit of Spanish. I knew El Rey meant the king. So that changed me somewhat forever. So at that point in time, after what I experienced, you weren't going to tell me that it wasn't real, because he convinced me of it at that point. I was done. Now, before that, you had to convince me. I wasn't just going to believe anything out of your mouth. Just like today, I'm not going to believe whatever anybody says. I'm not going to do it. Because I saw what it's been doing for my whole life, and I saw what's actually true. I saw what's actually real, and it was amazing. I made good friends with Hal, and I spent 14 days on the streets after that, and every day I stayed there, more miraculous things happened. I never said anything, never asked anybody for anything. All my needs were met beyond my expectations. By the time God was done with me, I was in like a $3,000 outfit. I ate the best that anybody ever ate every day. And I literally saw miracles for 14 days. They got so bad that I had to go home because I couldn't handle it anymore. It was too much to deal with. Without asking, people would come up to me from every different denomination and pick me up. Hey, they would take me to their house. I got pictures of them take me to their house. And in them, I was able to learn about the traditions of all the religions. And believe me, I was an idiot, to tell you the truth. I went to the Catholic. This Catholic guy picks me up, and he's like, "Hey, it's on Thursday. Maybe you come to retreat." So I was like, "Well, I can't promise anything because I'm living under the will of coincidence and God, right?" So I was like, "I can't prove anything or promise anything, but I tell you what, give me your card, and if on that day I pull your card out of my wallet with nothing to do, I will assume that it's meant to be, and that's the way it is." So he gives me the card. A couple days go by, shows up. I do just that. I pull the card out. Hey, I forgot about this guy. So I called him up. He takes me to the retreat, and we're in there, and I'm pissed. As soon as I walk in the door, I promise you I'm pissed. So because it costs $50 to get in. I'm like, $50? Well, basically, you have just told me that no poor people allowed. No poor people allowed. So I get in there and they sit me at their different tables, mark different things. And I sit me at the table, and the tables are all named. My table is miracles. I'm like, oh, okay. So I sit there and we're talking amongst ourselves, and they ended up taking us to this back room where they're trying to teach everybody how to do tongues, which is ridiculous to me because I consider it a gift. I don't think you can practice a gift. You're giving it or you're not. Now, once you're giving it, I do believe that you can develop that gift, but you got to get it first. So it was complete nonsense to me, and I've seen these people do the tongues. At the time I didn't know it, but after reading the Bible very clearly states, do not ever do this in front of anybody, in fear that they will think you are mad. And I did all the time. But as we were doing it, everybody's faking, and I'm like, I'm not going to pretend to fake these tongues. I'm not going to do it. But out of nowhere, this girl starts going off, and I was like floored. It hit me spiritually. I could not understand it because I didn't believe in it. But I knew what she was saying was something about a rape that occurred to her. She was, but it was real ones, like you could feel it. And I knew what she was saying. Somehow or another, I knew that she was raped by a family member for a long time when she was younger, and she always thought it was her fault. And the only thing I could say is I stood up and I raised my right hand to her and I said, "It's not your fault." And that's when they stopped everything. I began to weep, and I fell underneath the table because I couldn't understand what was happening. I've heard people say gibberish the whole time. I just watched 50 people do it in a row. But somehow when she did it, you knew it was different. And I knew it was different because I knew what she was saying. So that was my Catholic one. But we went in and we had the whole mass thing. And so God was showing me all these little traditions that he just didn't agree with. He didn't want me to agree with them either. They weren't in the Bible. They're merely traditions. So we go down, and the father, if you will, is preaching, which later on I found out in the Bible, you don't call somebody by father. Jesus said, don't call no one by father, but the Father in heaven. So I didn't know that at the time, so I never would have said anything. But he said something, and I remember going, "Hallelujah!" And boy, you might as well have, stopped the record in this place. I didn't know, but the day before, the father preacher guy, or whatever it would be called, He went through a whole sermon on why they took the word hallelujah out of everything until Jesus rises on the third day. So they don't say that in their songs. They don't mention it. They never mention the word. So me screaming it after showing up in the day before, it was unbelievable. They just stopped the room. And in the end, I found out it's not in the Bible. That's just a tradition. So I learned that. I went to all of them picked me up. I'm telling you, every single one of them. I got picked up by, what was the other one I like? The Mormons. Man, what a amazing people. They are a little spooky at times, but they're amazing. But they have a belief that you got to baptize like that. You got to baptize like this. I went through baptism in my last videos. You can check out what I say about that. So that's just tradition. It's not biblically sound. So he showed me that all these people were doing more of traditional things and less of things that are in the Bible. And sometimes their traditions completely contradicted what was in the Bible. So I learned all that. I finally made it back home. And before I left to do that, I gave away everything at home. When I got back, I got a phone call from a guy named Spin. John Spin, I think his name is. And he handed me a $5,000 check. And Eric, you wouldn't believe the people that made fun of me for doing that, giving away all my stuff and not having anything, but, and mocking me. But when I came back and got that $5,000 from John, we began to, remodel his house. We did the whole house. It took us 3 months. Nobody had work. I was able to hire all the guys who mocked me. And I went up to him and said, how much you want to make? How much you want to make? He said, well, I really think I'm worth $12. I was like, well, I'm going to pay you $15. You be that guy. And we worked like that for 3 months. And believe me, the ego got to me. And, the Lord giveth and he taketh away. Okay. So I bought back everything I lost better than it was before. Cool. So I made it back with all those lessons. And so now I'm unmovable. I am a Peter. He convinced me through all that. And I can't change my perception because, one, it makes sense. Two, I received it through a revelation of the truth. And I didn't read it nowhere. I didn't learn it nowhere. So that's where I'm at. And I know she also is the same way. So God has convinced me. I believe and I was a Peter. I believe she's a Peter. God is about to convince her beyond any reasonable doubt what's happening on the inside of her when matched to the things happening on the outside of her. There is no way probability could, enforce that theory as true, because it's not possible for that many coincidences to take place. So I did want to show you the last little thing here, and anything else we can talk about, I guess. But it's that picture, right? It's that picture. What we want is the transfiguration. So that picture, I think you guys should check it out, because it was something that was impossible. So I want to finish this off, and I'll come to it. I'll probably think of a million things because this just goes in every direction, a million ways with me, and it never ends. So I'm very grateful that she contacted me because she helped me. I know it's God because I received something from it. It let me know. You know what I mean? It let me know. So how beautiful is this? I walk into that beacon and it's on the wall there, or on the stained glass, and a guy who did it painted it with invisible ink. So when you looked at it with a photograph, it would illuminate all these people down here. All of them will be lit up. So his light lights up all these people and it's just shining, So it's amazing. If you haven't seen it, you definitely got to go check it out. That's definitely one. So I don't have a religion. I've come to the conclusion that I'm either all of them or none of them. I don't believe in religion. I believe Jesus hated it. I believe he went against it. It's the only time he's ever created a violent act is when he saw religion using God as a way to make money. He walked in there, grabbed their money. This is what he said, is he made a whip out of cords and went in there and beat them all out of the church, ran them all out. The only time he was ever mad was because of this. And he showed me that in so many different areas. And because it was the one thing that made me angry too. So this is what I'm saying. She has a dream. dissecting that dream led me to this information. This information matches with the experience she's going through. I assume I'll have her concur, but it's going through that. It's talking about the very world that we're living in this second. It's talking about that. So all this stuff lines up. I can't do anything about that. And then coming to the Feast of Transfiguration that apparently occurred sometime in August. At the same time, my love wants to get married. So I'm going to try and initiate bringing back one of the 5 greatest things considered in the miracles of Jesus. This one being the unique one, beloved one. That's what beloved means, is unique. This one being the unique one is because it's the first time these guys got to see a miracle that Jesus didn't perform, but it was performed on Jesus. Amazing. Why we've never heard about this? Correct me. Have one of you guys out there, do you celebrate this feast? Is it a big deal? Is it as big a deal as Jesus thought? Because you had this feast, and then you had the birth, the life, the death, and the resurrection and ascension. You had all these. Those are the things that this is considered to be next to, the equivalent of. So why don't we practice a festival or a feast that is considered equal by Jesus, and understandably, it's the first time God performed a miracle on him in front of everybody. It's the one miracle mentioned in the Bible that he didn't do. So it's very important to him. Why don't we hold it important to him? Because he considers it to be just as equal as his birth, which happened miraculously, his life, which was miraculously, his death, which was miraculously because he called it, and, his ascension into heaven. That's all the most important things, and they see this as the most important. So I want to bring it back, and we'll just say to hell with it, through coincidences. I didn't pick the date, but we'll say August 21st is the day we celebrate it. I'm going to try to get that going. So I feel that's what I've received from. That's what God has me to do as a duty, to start recognizing this, even if it's in my own. And I can promise you, that's going to be the celebration of my wedding. We are going to honor that because it was God. And this entire situation of me putting away materialistic things and finding a spiritual man, me seeing all the signs, me coming to believe in the truth, that led me to my soulmate, a real soulmate. Not somebody I want, not somebody, who I think I want is irrelevant. Who someone else thinks I need is irrelevant. And through perception, we're beginning to understand how each other thinks through an experiment I created. And we'll be able to divinely live together the way we're supposed to live. So, God bless you guys, man. God bless you. I was redirected from Great Feast to Great Feast in the Eastern Orthodox Church. Oh, that would teach me that they're different, but we're done now. So we can go on to that and dig down into that deeper. So to recap, summary it all up, we need to start celebrating this day. She needs to recognize that what she's going through, she needs to embrace it, and she needs to test it in every way, shape, or form, the way she's testing me. Now, this is my interpretation of that dream. If it doesn't line up to her personal thoughts on the inside, then I can't interpret dreams. And I can do away with this gift. But if it does, then I can. And I can start to refine it. So, we're Peters, girl. We're Peters. We're hard to convince, but once we do, we're like a rock. You can't move us. So if you aren't already convinced, you're going to be, because that's what I believe this is saying. If you aren't truly 100% convinced at the end of this that Jesus wasn't a magic show, he was real and he just had knowledge, and he's coming to you in spirit of the truth to reveal the truth to you so you can be a rock like Peter and not be moved. And he wants you to initiate this feast and celebrate this feast, even if it's only in your own home. I would like to do it on a mass scale, but even if it's only in my own home, if my wedding don't work out that way, because we all know guys don't really get to choose anything the dialogue of the wedding is about, and I'm fine with that. We'll have it after or before, but I'm going to choose that day to celebrate it, because it was that day that became the greatest day of my life in every direction. I found my soulmate. I found the true meaning of my life. I found my true interpretation of God that I can understand. And I put away the foolish things, the lies. That's my favorite thing. One of my favorite lines is in the Bible. It says, "For now we see dimly, as if in a mirror. But after this, we will see as if we were face to face, perfectly." We know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is true comes, that's in Corinthians. You guys check that out. And congratulations to the girl who had this dream, the courage to share it. I want you to know he's contacting you. Expect the Spirit of truth through a series of coincidences in which no man can plan, prevent, control, or explain to come to you and reveal to you the real Jesus. Now, don't waste no time anticipating the evil one coming and trying to distract you from that every way. When I'm telling you, he'll close your phone down. Things will disappear that you were looking at. Like a million things you can't explain what happened. You just have to anticipate them, and don't get discouraged. Just keep going. If a river appears to you on your road, don't turn around. Swim across it, because you can. And as long as you keep going, you'll get to the bottom of it. And that's where she's at right now. God bless you, lady. Thank you for sending this to me. The only thing I know is that I don't know anything. So as long as I stay in that mindset, I'm always in the mindset of being able to learn something new. And right when I think, I got it all figured out, one of the main 5 things, and was one of the first things I saw through coincidences on my walk, still was somehow distracted from knowing that Jesus considered something just as important as his birth, his life, his death, his resurrection, and his ascension. There's something better than all those, or just as good, and that was this feast. Thank you very much for sharing this with me. God bless anybody who watched it. You can comment if you want. But I'm just letting you know that any of your predisposition thoughts are not going to affect anyone with their eyes open or anyone in the process of opening their eyes, because they can see. They can see. My name is Justin. My new name God gave me was Justice. I believe he's trying to give a lot of you your new name. Receive it, accept it, and even if you don't tell anybody about it, that's okay. Don't be like me, because you will be attacked. And that's what I do. I'm sort of the bait, because what's really happening in the background while the world comes to attack me is all these things that I was just talking about. Because we're all having this revelation. And in the end, we won't be able to tell people, we can't deny this. How can this many people in this many parts of the land have the same understanding from different directions? Only time will tell. God bless each and every one of you. If you have any questions that I didn't cover in here, if you think I was wrong somewhere, go ahead and write it down. And if I am, I'll be more happy to say, oh yeah, that's right, I made a mistake right there. But half the time, the mistakes aren't on me. They're on the person interpreting what I say to mean something completely different than what I meant. So good luck, you guys. If you have any dreams out there, give me a shot. I mean, the Bible says test the spirits. So if I have the spirit of interpretation, well, you need to test it. And if I can't come back to you with something, then I don't have that gift. But I think I do. I love you guys. Keep seeking the truth. Keep revealing the truth. Keep speaking the truth. So one day you will have the chance to live the truth. And you, we'll see. But you will also see that these people who are going through this stuff, they're not going through the fear and problems everybody else is. They're sort of sheltered from the emotions that are caused from this for whatever reason. And I think that's biblical too. I think that's, we don't have these pains, these labor pains or whatever they are. We don't have those. We're not subject to that because we're on a different road. We're on a road to revelation. We're on a road to illumination. We're on a road to truth without lie. God without man. And that road is so protected. God had it worked out a long time ago. 10 years, since the beginning of time. So you will see all these people who are starting to head out in these different directions. They're not worried. They're not scared. They're seeking the truth about internal things that are happening to them. And everything in your power will try to get them to fear like you, but they won't. What's wrong with these people? Nothing is what's wrong with them. If this is right, girl, and you watched it, hit me back and let me know if I'm off. Anything? I don't think I think I'm so right on with this. I'd be willing to probably bet my salvation. Because there's too many things that come around full circle. Happy what was that? I don't know what it's called anymore. It's terrible. So happy that day, August 21st, 2021. I will celebrate it this August. I will celebrate it for the first time on August 21st. I encourage you guys to maybe, if we can't come out, we'll do it here. But I really think it's something that has to be done in person. So we're going to create a secret meeting somewhere wherever, where we're going to go have this feast, a barbecue. We used to do things when we were kids where we'd drive cars into a giant cornfield in trucks and do donuts and then park them all backwards, pop the trucks, break the beer out and drink and have a good time. But it's time to celebrate the resurrection of the truth. It's time to celebrate the Mount of Transfiguration that celebrates the change inside of us that is that is that of a butterfly. That's why we're so attracted to butterflies. That going from a caterpillar to a butterfly, that metamorphosis, that's what we're celebrating there. That change. All of you are different characters of the Bible. That's why they're there. Those characters are there because there's only so many personalities that people can be. So when you read the Bible, dig deeper. Be like, which one of these guys do I think I most agree with? Which one of these do I most respond the same way with? And if you're that character in the Bible, then research that character. And chances are there'll be lots of omens and signs within that to reveal to you what your true meaning and destination is. That Bible is not what it seems. It's not what it seems. It's not what we've been taught. It's not just a bunch of random words that don't mean anything. It's not just a bunch of stuff you should have faith in. Faith is hope in the things that are unseen, according to, I think it's Hebrews 11:1. It's hope in the things that are unseen, but we can see this. We don't have to hope for this because it's unseen. The Bible is seen. Open it up, read it, ask for revelation. You will receive it. But believe one thing, you are not going to be able to tell your Sunday Mass what you newly believe because they are indoctrinated and they can't break out of it. Lastly, I'm sorry, I love you guys, man. Seek the truth. Start looking for it. Ask the universe or God or the sky. Start with the sky. That's what I did. I start screaming at the sky. Come to find out that worked. But if you truly seek it, it's going to reveal itself to you. There's nothing you could do to help it or stop it. Go love and be loved. And my favorite one these days is no matter who you are or what you believe, go be a father to all sons, men. Sons, be sons to all fathers. Mothers, be mothers to every daughter. And daughters, be daughters to every mother. And just be patient and wait. Because everyone wakes up. Every tongue will confess this truth in the end. And not because they learned it from somebody else. Not because they read it in a book. Not because somebody of authority or people who have money or power told them that's what it... No, they experience it. And what they do is, we are what's called in the Bible, we are the first to rise because we were the ones who were dead in the truth. We gave up wanting to know what it really was, and we just started following suit with everybody else to avoid conflict. So we rise first. But believe one thing, all of you are next. And if you don't believe me, it doesn't matter. You believing in me won't prevent me from believing in him. Your disbelief in the one Christ has sent, the prophets, all of us. There's millions of us. It's nothing new. You're misinterpreting the word prophet. But he sent us all. So if you don't believe who he sent, then you don't believe who sent him. And if you don't believe them, you're never going to see the truth. So you will judge all the people waking up right now who are woke and waking up. But believe one thing, tread lightly. Because you're going to go through the same thing. And it's cool to be judged by somebody else. Nobody cares. But that moment when you have to judge yourself, yeah, that's when the fire gets hot. All right, let's see what you guys come up with on this. Hallelujah! That means the truth has arisen. Welcome to the new world. Welcome to my kingdom come.